Hello everybody, welcome back to Life Stories. My name is Trent, and I'd like to welcome you to yet another episode of I Don't Work Here Lady. So, without further ado, let's get started. Our story is titled, I'm told to clean the table when I'm not on, and I end up teaching a guy some manners. Our cast is me, take a wild guess, and HG, Hispanic guy. This is a bit of a different kind of I Don't Work Here Lady story. Considering I did work here, but the circumstances make it so I couldn't at the time. So, long time ago, I worked at Denny's. Most underappreciated, overworking, underpaying job ever. I'm glad I left when I did. As a services assistant. This basically means I'm the janitor and the dishwasher. The work itself was okay, and I was friends with the majority of my coworkers, but the hours were terrible. Pitch black morning hours and being on call. And I eventually had fewer than 20 a week, so I left when I found a new job. As is part of my expected job duties, I'm supposed to clear tables with a towel and spray it off with disinfectant, cleaning it as needed as well. This is actually very much the waiting staff's job, and they're supposed to do it, but that part of the job got shuffled down to us because, I don't know, work more and let the waiting staff get the tips for our work? Anyways, there was this Hispanic guy with glasses who would come in just about every day with a man in a wheelchair in tow. Not sure if they were friends or if he was a caretaker or what, but the wheelchair guy had a favorite table that he wanted just about always. And any time the table wasn't clear or looked shiny, the Hispanic guy would walk up to the employee, often going behind the breakfast bar, and even one time behind the doors to the kitchen, which is not allowed and a severe danger if you're not wearing non-slip shoes, and demanded that we clean the favorite table at once, even if he was going to be sent to another table. Nuh-uh, this table, every time, shiny and perfect, or no tip to anyone. Anyways, I did what I could to keep up on all tables, making sure they were clean and sprayed off before more people would be sat there. But often enough, the charming Hispanic man and his friend in the wheelchair would enter when I was on a break or lunch hour, and I would usually spend my lunch break with my apron, name tag, and cap off, sitting at a chair at this small breakfast bar in the corner, whether I was eating, playing on my phone, or just enjoying the sensation of being off my feet for a bit. As a result, I still looked like an employee, despite the obvious lack of uniform and that I was not working at the moment, albeit a lazy one. So, this would happen if the table was not clean. The Hispanic guy and wheelchair man came in, and I was on break. He'd straight up walk over to me and put his hands on his hips, clear his throat, and widen his eyes when he made eye contact with me. This is just one of the ways these exchanges would go. Ahem. Me, looking up from my phone, often while eating. Yes? Our table is not clean. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I can see about getting someone to come over and... HG, now matter-of-factly, you'll do it. Now. I'm afraid I can't, sir. Sure you can. We don't have all day. I'm on my break. When that's the case, I won't work. Not because I don't want to. I'm not legally allowed to. HG, now sputtering, oh, please, you're not on break. You just don't want to work. Actually, I am on my break, sir. Labor laws dictate that I can get in trouble if I work on my break. I've offered to take time out of my break to flag someone down for you. Just clean the table for us. We need to eat. Me, now pointing to another corner of the restaurant, there's a waiter over there. He'll help you. As I said, I can't work right now. HG was getting angry. Why can't you just clean the table for us? It takes like 1 minute. This is something I've actually told him at one point. Me, not caring anymore about his feelings. Even if I could clean the table for you on my break, that would mean less time for my break, and I don't really appreciate being told I'm lazy and how to do my job. In the amount of time it's taken for you to hound me about cleaning this table for you, you could have flagged someone else down and you'd likely have gotten drinks by now. I've pointed out a waiter for you. If you're insistent on getting that specific table, you'll have to reach out to him and ask him. HG smirks as he pulls out what he thinks is his trump card. I'll be sure to let your manager know about this. Me, being honest, I invite you to. He then scoffs, realizing his threat didn't bully me into being his butler. Oh, I'm so sorry, Your Highness. I see him wander off to seek someone else. He had told the manager, but I was off the hook since he rarely ever waited to be seated when people were supposed to. and I was one of the higher service assistants at the time. That's not even the worst he's done, that's just an example. At one point, I was off my shift and waiting for someone to pick me up for a movie after I got off. It was somewhat busy, so more than half of the restaurant was full with customers. I sat in the breakfast bar, uniform completely off, and a set of street clothes in its place. I was munching on a quick appetizer I bought with my discount since I hadn't eaten for a while messing around with my phone. And who should walk in but my #1 fan and his friend in a wheelchair. His favorite table was taken at the time, so he uncomfortably waited at the entrance for the table to vacate. As he was waiting, he and I caught eye contact. Remember, at this time, I'm wearing attire that is not the uniform, and there's no reason to think I am. Far as my managers and labor law was concerned, I was a customer like any other right now. The moment the table was vacant, he would, of course, take his buddy in the wheelchair and dart for the table. But, of course, the dirty plates and stuff were still on the table, since a waiter hadn't gotten to the table yet. And the second he realized it, guess who he approached to ask to clean it for him? I was already mentally preparing myself to be insulted and then tattled on to a manager. I decided to ignore him. I was in no mood for his disrespect. He walks up. Hey. I ignore him. Hey, you. I still keep ignoring him. Excuse me. Me now reluctantly facing him with my teeth gritting from actually getting physical. What? Our tables need to be cleaned. Me deciding to take a more arrogant approach this time since I wasn't actually on the clock. I'm sure there are some waiters that'd be happy to clean it off as soon as they get a chance. See if you can flag one down. Clean our table for us, he said. I'm not on right now. I don't care if you're on your break or whatever. Clean it now. At this point, people were noticing and watching. Me slowly turning around and facing him. I am not on right now. Just clean our table. I've got no time for this. I will not clean your table since I'm just a customer right now, same as you. And go ahead and report me to the manager. They will tell you to leave me alone since I'm not an employee at the moment. But we need to eat. We're in a rush, and no one else will do it for us. You have to. Oh, that's really unfortunate. However, if you're in a rush and need to eat, there's a few convenience stores and fast food places down the street where you can get food quickly. And again, I'm not working right now. I'm a customer. At this point, my ride arrived, and I saw his car through the window. I took a last bite of my food and stood up to leave, but HG tried to block my path. He was starting to look desperate. Look, just clean our table, please. I know you can. Aw, that's too bad. My ride actually just got here, hence why I'm leaving. And for the last time, I am not an employee right now. I stepped around him, having had enough. Should be it, right? Wrong. He turns around. Hey! He actually grabs me by the back of my shirt collar and tries to yank me backwards. I should mention, I'm a green belt in Kung Fu. I know how to defend myself. Out of reflex, I stomp one foot behind me, spin to the left while putting my left arm behind me, twirling it in a circle to grab his wrist. At the same time, I used my right hand and put pressure on his upper arm, while holding his wrist with my left and pushed it down. Basically, I caught his arm and was bending it against his elbow. He was startled by the move and sudden reflex, and started squealing at the counter I just did. I let him go, after I thought I got my point across. After I let him go, he just looked at me with absolute bewilderment, like he thought I was crazy. Before he could get a manager to stop me from leaving, I was already out the door. The next time I came into work, I was met by my manager, who was eager to discuss what happened that day. I explained that I was just acting in self-defense, and only put his arm in that lock because he would not leave me alone, and was demanding that I even work when I was off. I also told him this was not the first time he tried to make me do that. At that, my manager seemed to calm down a bit, even though he did let me know that HG had, in fact, tried to get the police involved. I told him that the cameras should have picked up everything that happened, and that he grabbed me first. Me locking his arm was done reflexively. He told me to try to avoid physical contact with other customers in the restaurant, whether I'm on duty or not. I understood and apologized for it. Ever since that day, whenever HG saw me, on duty or not, he would whisper to his buddy in the wheelchair, but would steer clear of me. I was fine with that. That's one weird thing I never understood about some people. I'm the kind of person who likes eating all sorts of different things. I guess if you're pickier, you're kind of okay with just going to the same place every single day, but sitting in the same table every single time, I don't know about that. Anyways, with that especially long story out of the way, we're out of time for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. So, I want to thank you all for tuning into Life Stories once again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you're all doing safe and staying clean during these crazy, tumultuous times. My name is Trent, this has been Life Stories, and I hope to see you guys soon.